Welcome to Old Guys Still Rock. Super grateful you gave us a look or a listen. We specifically developed this podcast for friends or soon-to-be friends who are in the 40-plus category. This podcast is a platform to not only have your voices be heard, but also for others who are going through the same thing and know that they too aren't alone. Our topics may be business, topics may be entrepreneurship, our topics may be social, or our topics may be just everyday life. Whatever it is, we hope that you give it a share and leave us a comment. But most of all, if you want your voice to be heard, please leave us a comment on how to get a hold of you so you too can be an old guy that still rocks and help build our community. Until we speak again, stay safe, but most of all, God bless. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back. Very, very, very special episode today. If this is your first time here, this is Old Guys Still Rock. I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker, a global luxury specialist in residential real estate located here in the Coachella Valley. If you don't know what the Coachella Valley is, that is Palm Springs, Indio, Palm Desert, La Quinta, the list goes on. So if you've been in the desert in Southern California or Eastern California, that is the Coachella Valley. And on my right, maybe your left, my good friend for almost 30 years, he is not in California this time. Correct. He's in beautiful Eugene, Oregon. We've had some pretty good weather up there lately. Mm-hmm. How are you doing, my dude?
I'm doing well. It's been an interesting week weather-wise. They told us it was going to be 60s, and it's been 80s. So the weatherman, like most baseball players, hitting 198 for the week.
Still going to make it in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
if
or Hall of Shame, depending.
One of the two, right?
Exactly.
Well, the best batters in the world hit 30%.
Yeah.
That makes you the great. That makes you one of the greats. Isn't that crazy? 30%.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that a lot of you have heard that. It's like, if you hit 300, you are one of the best of the best. 400 is almost unheard of, but and we strive to be 100. I mean, that's how much. That's a whole other topic almost.
It's like what we were talking about before we came on. During my coaching session this morning, a gentleman says, "When can I stop being everything to everyone?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "When you're dead."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But you have to try. You have to try every day. And what you're saying is the baseball analogy.
Yeah.
You keep swinging, right? Keep swinging for the fence.
Right.
And hope like heck you hit 30%.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's how life is. Keep swinging for the fence every day.
Yeah.
Another thing that came up, which go ahead.
No, I won't go. You keep on your stuff. I'll go back.
Another thing that came up this morning was the Jesse Itzler. I don't know if you saw, but his mom passed away on Mother's Day.
No.
His mom was in her 90s, so I mean, he lived a good life, but it really affected him and his family and everything. And God bless you, Jesse. You're a good dude, and God bless your mom. We know she's in a better place. So, but I was like, so how old are you? And this gentleman I'm coaching, he's just turned 21. And I said, so you know what the national average is for lifespan for a male in the U.S.? He goes, what? And I go, 76. He's like, that's crazy. And I go, what's crazy is you have 55 summers left. And he's like, wow. He just sat back in his chair and he's just like, it's not long enough. It's not long enough. And I said, Moses was 800 years old. And he said the same thing to God. I am not finished yet. I need more time. I said, now you got to condense that and get more done in this lifetime.
Yeah, and it's so true. And to add another piece to that is, that's the average as of right now.
Yeah.
But each all of us have a different purpose, right? We may have a different lifespan, but that's your average. But it's a good, okay, this is my base. I know pretty much I have to about this time based on averages if we're doing an actuary type of thing, right?
Yep.
So make sure that we are fulfilling our purpose every single day. And if God grants us a little bit more time, great. We have more time to live out our purpose. But knowing here's our base, this is our baseline. I'm going to do as much as I can to fulfill my purpose, whatever that may be, and to contribute back to society. So yeah, it'll make you ponder for a little bit because we're such a right now society, right? Which we've talked about in the past, that we like, oh, we got forever to get this done. You and I talked about this. It goes back to the power list. I wish I had one. I just bought a bunch. I actually just bought a bunch of them up there.
Mine's over there.
Yeah. Behind me, actually, which you guys can't really see here in the stuff, is I have this large bookcase of all the books that we read and different books that we hand out when something hits us. But anyway, on point short is getting it back to that power list and making sure that you accomplish those things every single day to not only help yourself get better, but to be an example to others of how to become better. Because we all are, in essence, a movie, if you want to, of the good guys against bad guys, and that's how we live. Which kind of leads us into today, right? By the way, this is really cool, and I know we still got a lot of stuff working. We are in episode number 50 today.
50, kids, 50.
We have crossed a threshold that not many have crossed. So all of those who have followed us and made that possible, given us some good feedback, so forth, keep it coming. We love it. We're still growing. We have a long way to go. We will keep doing this as God willing, as people will say, keep this going as long for about. So congratulations to you. Let me see if I have something here for us. I want to put this live, and here we go.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes my heart smile.
So just a little bit of fun, man. So again, guys, thank you so much to help us get to episode 50. We got a lot of stuff coming. As we talked about last week, we had a new logo that's designed. We're super excited about that. We are working on some cool stuff, not only with apparel, but we got some special gifts that we're going to put together as well for all of our past guests, all of our future guests, and those people that just contribute, either sharing the show or leaving us a comment. So we're going to have some fun with this, but we've had a pretty good impact. So again, episode 50, I want to get into it. You and I talked about this a little bit ago, is what I heard you say, and you're going to correct me on this. I've got two things. Let me pull up my notes, and I want to add to what you told me. How important is it that you are surrounding yourself with the right people? And we've heard that comment. Are you surrounding yourself with the right people? We've heard it a bunch over and over and over again. But is it forever? This is a question to you, Brent. Is that surrounding yourself with the right people forever, or are certain people just for a season?
I believe they're just for a season. They're there to help you grow, and you're there to help them grow. So no different than the comment that we talked about early on in our episodes. I think episode 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there, was the wisdom of a man who plants a tree knowing he may never sit under the shade of it, right? And that's the way relationships are, in my opinion. There are people that come into your life for a season to challenge you, to help you grow, to show you something, to facilitate a change in you, and hopefully make you a better person. So there are a number of people I'm like, man, I wish that person was still in my life. And then you bring them back into your life, you pull them back forcibly. Not God put them there, not the universe, not a chance. It's just you physically reach out to them and you drag them back, kicking and screaming, likely, into your life. And then it's not the same. And then it doesn't facilitate the same purpose. And it doesn't feel good. It feels different. And sometimes different's good, but it just doesn't feel right because you're forcing the situation. You're forcing them back into your life instead of allowing what happened to play out and then just being grateful that they were there to help you through the process.
And that comes and to go along with that, that's so true. Sometimes we get very comfortable and it feels good because we are getting to fulfilled to a certain point. But how do we get to the next level is what you're telling me with this season of people that you're being with. Okay, that season's ended. I've got myself to this point. It's not saying leave them completely behind. They just serve a different purpose from you from that point forward. I got to this point. It has its season. There's not that you can't have a relationship with them and totally disregard them, because that's what I normally do. Like, okay, I'm kind of done with you, moving on. I don't need to talk to you. Keep that relationship. I think what Brent is really saying, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, is that the relationship is just going to be different. It's not going to be the same when you're going through the battles and the learning process and stuff like that. It serves a different purpose. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about in a malicious way. I'm talking about those people that come into your life and, you know, you do dinners with them. You have campouts with them. You know, your family's engaged and things like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, the next summer comes around and you're not at the camp out with them and they didn't invite you, or you didn't invite them, or, you know, you don't reach out to them as often and things like that. Again, it's not a malicious, you know, I'm done with you and I'm ready to grow and prosper and you just don't fit my mold anymore. Right. It's not that. It's more of, you know, I had a good friend of mine. I still consider him a good friend. I just don't talk to him anymore. You know, our paths are different. He went left, I went right, or vice versa, and or we crossed, and I took the high road, he took the low road, or vice versa. And you know, I mean, to the point was, I used to spend, you know, probably 20 hours a week with him.
Right.
No different than you when you lived here, right? We were engaged probably 10 or 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week, depending upon the week. But it's similarly placed. Every time that I try to engage him, it just doesn't feel like it fits anymore. It's like a square peg in a round hole. We're still friends. We're still friendly. But if you asked him or asked me, hey, have you talked to so-and-so? You know, we just don't talk anymore. Well, why? Well, I don't know. Every time I reach out, it just doesn't, you know, he's busy, I'm busy. It doesn't feel like the right fit. Is the universe or God conspiring to separate you? No, not purposefully, maybe purposefully, possibly. Like, I mean, really, and again, people that are listening, we appreciate you and just want to clarify, this is Therapy Thursday. and we are asking ourselves these questions because we talk about these things offline, and these are the things that come up, and these are the things that hurt my head, probably hurt yours too. You know, like there was a time when you know, when you and I didn't talk very often. And it was weird. Every time I tried to call you, you were, you know, en route to this or en route to that, or, you know, busy at work or this or that or the next thing. And then all of a sudden we're back and we're like peas and carrots again. Right. And then we brought this idea up of us doing Therapy Thursdays and, you know, 50 episodes later. Right. But, you know, do you have similar situations? Have you had similar interactions, and what was your take on them?
Yeah, you know, and I think what you know, I wrote down a couple of things on here. Again, love this. Again, Therapy Thursdays. This is why we do this. Is we're really kind of planting seeds to make you think a little bit more, because we're thinking about how do we make corrections. And what Brent was just talking about is everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a season. How long that is for me, and it doesn't have to be everybody that watches this, but for me, is God says it's time to move. For me, that's is to it. And I want to go back to that last comment here in just a little bit, but I want to finish this thought first. Business. Are you being the person that people want to surround themselves with?
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. Are you going to people that you want to surround yourself with, and are you being the person that people want to surround themselves with as well? So it's a double-edged thing. And then for a guy that comes up and has, and where my finger is pointing, for the guy that comes up and still working through this, but has massive abandonment issues because of things that happened in my past, it's very hard when that season ends and you can't figure out why. Close relationships, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, friendships. It's hard to digest when that season ends. You're like, what did I do something? Or
Do I smell?
Do I smell? Okay, maybe we have a different mindset, but we had a different mindset before. Why has it become effective now? So these are the things that gets you it just is going to happen. And we may never get an explanation why. Again, this is me talking to myself in a roundabout way. And maybe this resonates with all of you guys that are watching this, but maybe it is just because it's time. And
or we had an episode not too long ago labeled "Are you listening?"
Are you listening? Yeah.
Right?
Maybe you did. Yeah.
Maybe it's time for me to stop and listen and hear what God or the universe is trying to tell me.
Yeah, it's a tough one to ponder. And so I hope that you guys are watching this, rewind that a little bit and really think about kind of what was just said. That as I said, again, for me, abandonment issues, it really affected me for a lot of. I'm just learning that, okay, just like Brent said, maybe it was just a season. It's fulfilled its purpose. I don't really get it right now, but someday it'll be revealed to me why that happened. And then what Brent said too is stop, take a moment, listen. How did that happen? And then maybe do some self-evaluation, some self-fixing, whatever that may be. Is good. We don't have the answers. Yeah. This is just a thought process that maybe that if you're going through it, there's a reason for it too. And, then I'm going to add to this as well, because you made me think about these things too, is just what we've always heard, trust the process, what you're going through. Don't forget to stop and listen, which we did a couple of episodes. You can more than welcome to go back to that. And then trust the journey as well. There's a process and a journey, two different things in there. So a lot to peel back there. But I think that's a big thing too, is that, people may just could abandon you in both different ways. And I want to use the word, I do want to use the word abandon. Is that it feels. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to learn to right there. Is how do you feel? And I start giving words and like, no, dude, how do you feel? Like what, feelings? What's that? Oh, sad. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Feeling is like you stick your hand too close to the stove and it burns and it hurts. And that's a feeling, right? That's what I don't know about you, but well, right. But that's for me, when somebody talks about feelings, it's either good on an extreme or bad on an extreme. And there's not a little gray area there for me. Yeah. And so, kids really helped with that. A gracious wife really helped with that. It's really tough.
It is tough
to not have feelings when you go to leave for work in the morning, and my 7-year-old son, who's getting ready to turn 8 in a couple months, he just looks at you and he's like, "I love you so much." Right, and so you have extreme joy in that situation, but then you really have to just sit there and listen and sit in the moment for a moment and just be like, okay, I have 21 summers left. What am I going to do with those? And am I going to listen and hear and understand and feel in this moment what it is that God's trying to tell me through my 7-year-old son? I rush around in the morning, trying to stay consistent, got a plan, got a schedule, got a this, got a that. And he just throws me a curveball.
Curveball you needed to hear, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
curveball you need to hear. And I think those,
Slow me
the
down.
words come out at opportune times that you just like, yeah, that was really good to hear that and how you're being a light. Another thing is we talked about this, and I know we're kind of going up there, surround yourself, right? We're hoping that the people that watch us, I hope that we're the people that you want to surround yourself with, or the words that we use, or you want to surround yourself with that to help you maybe get over something that you're trying to get with, or just enhancing what you currently have.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that watch us that do a lot better job in life than we do. And we try to emulate those guys. And so we hope that there's certain things that we do on this show that you want to try to emulate and pass on to others. So I always say share the show. But one thing that I heard also today is we have been, it's an upbringing because just what's the past for kind of our genre is a little bit that 40 plus, maybe we get the 50, 60, 70-year-old people in here, but we always were brought up to it as, put on your big boy pants, don't show emotion, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Be alpha male, right? The alpha male is be strong, doing all this different stuff. Alpha doesn't always mean that you can't share emotion. If there's emotion that you like to exude and show it in a different way, is you could still be an alpha male and show your emotion. And I really thought about that for a second is I want to be this strong type of person, but there's times that I want to show emotion. And I feel like when I was going to show emotion on that I was not being the alpha male that I needed to be, right? Because the image that alpha male has through social media and stuff like that is not who I am. Mm-hmm. The Andy Frisellas. He gets passionate and people are like, that guy's alpha. But I haven't met him. You have met him. Mm-hmm. On the other side is everything that I've heard is Andy's one of the nicest guys in the whole world and will give you a shirt off his back.
Oh, amen. Amen.
So,
yep.
But when you hear him, F this, da, 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 people say he's really hard to listen to. He's a little brash. He's trying to get a message across, and it's as passionate, but in the same sense as I heard, that, again, he's a guy that come by and take somebody off the street and help them get better type of thing. So mm-hmm. Just because what you're beat into, the Andrew Tates and all this stuff is like you alpha male talking as the these guys that have to, that's not alpha. You can still be alpha and show emotion is basically what I'm trying to say. Don't be afraid to do that. And because that is what a purpose and talent that whoever your higher being is giving you, or whatever your purpose for the universe is, mm-hmm. That's your purpose. And that's how your alpha is going to be. You do not have to try to absorb somebody else's alpha and try to be somebody else. Be your alpha. And that's what I said is going back to what I said earlier. Are you being the person that people want to surround yourself? Maybe you don't have this persona of this typical alpha male, but maybe you are that alpha for somebody else.
Yeah. So when I think quintessential perfect alpha male, it's a balance. And we've talked about this in prior episodes. Balance is BS, right? There's no balance. Balance is giving your all at what you're doing now, being present in the moment, and exonerating moral aptitude, integrity, ethics, moral compass, core values, things like that. If I was to say that there was a quintessential alpha male, I would tell you that Michael Landon, since we are old guys that still rock, he played Charles Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie, right? He was strong. He was resilient. He was compassionate. He was all the things that he needed to be. No different than when we talked in the first part of this episode. When do I get to stop being everything I need to be for everyone? You don't. You have to be everything to everyone, including yourself. And so it's been an eye opener for me, raising a son and a daughter. I need to be compassionate, strong, moral aptitude, ethics, integrity, all those things. And I needed to be able to show my son that it's okay to show emotion. One of the things that he said to me when he was about 4, he's like, "I'm sorry I cry all the time." I said, "You don't have to be sorry that you cry all the time. I want you to feel comfortable to cry when you need to cry. But you also need to be able to communicate while you're crying. And you need to articulate the intent of what your actions were and articulate the intent of what you're trying to accomplish by crying. Is it to feel better? Is it to make other people feel sad? All these things." And so having those talks with him and being able to show emotion when I'm sad with him has been extremely rewarding, because you and me, grew up in a time where if you show your emotion and if you cry, dry your tears up, you freaking whiny baby. You want me to give you something to cry about?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And unfortunately, that still passes on from generation to generation. Does not mean you can back that. You don't. We all have come with a different set of instructions. Every single one of us.
Yeah.
We are the same, but we're not the same. And so, yeah, just we're learning. And I've instilled that with my kids, and I'm sure that's going to be played down to you hear it with everyone. Stop crying, blah blah blah. And there's also the other part. Oh, just let them cry and do some different things. There is a happy medium to that, whatever that may be. Yes, don't let your kids to have tantrums in the middle of the store and just let it act like it's going to be okay. There's correction, and there's grace in the same sense.
My daughter, she cries to get my attention because she knows that I'm a softie with her, right? So then I have to be, again, what are you crying for? What's your purpose? What's your intent? Do you need consoled or do you need counseled? It's a tough one.
It's tough, man. But again, we're all going back to this. I said episode number 50 on here. This is all going back to: are you surrounding yourself with the people you want? Are you, surrounding yourself with the people you want to be? And also, are you being the person that people want to surround themselves? So take this, find out what your strengths are, find out what your weaknesses are, figure those out, keep on sharing that with it, because there will be an ebb and flow in that relationship. And again, that relationship may be forever. I'm going to say this. Most relationships are eternal if you have that belief.
Yeah.
Here on this world, they can be brief, but don't think that is not going to, for me, I don't understand that every relationship that I have, small or long, or short or long, whatever that is going to be, these are all going to be eternal. So even though that this season has ended, someday we will meet again. That's my mindset. It's a lot of people's mindset. Some people don't believe in that. That's fine. I'm just telling you to it. That's how I am starting to look at relationships, that this is eternal, and knowing that here, no matter how long that I am on this earth, that's how long that relationship is going, whatever it is going to be that. So I hope that makes it a little bit easier to understand, is just because it's ending here, there's a very, very good chance, if you have that belief, that this relationship is eternal, and you will have a lot longer to spend time with that person.
I look at relationships kind of like the process of a butterfly, right? They start out in the cocoon phase, and then they grow, and then they blossom and turn into this beautiful thing. And then sometimes, for after the season's over, then they pass and they start a new relationship somewhere else. And then the process, continues with their offspring, right?
Absolutely.
And so I don't know. I'm just grateful for the time and the opportunities with the people that I get to interact with,
Mhm.
and the things that they share with me and the times that they share with me to help me grow and prosper. They are the memories that I still have to this day. And they're the things that drive me to do better and to grow. And, sometimes God brings a relationship into my life to show me what I don't want to be and also what I do want to be.
The maturation process over the last couple of years, especially for as long as you and I've known each other, when you sit back once in a while and you think about the process that it's been, it is overwhelming. There could be some sadness, but there's so much beauty into it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of where I'm at this point of life, is that you're figuring things out. You think that you're kind of late in life at 55, but my maturation process just took a little bit longer than some other people, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it may be. Is the beauty part is I know I have a lot more to go and a lot more to give, and that makes it a little bit more invigorating when you're having bad times.
Mm-hmm.
That like I've survived some pretty ish stuff in my life. I'm still here. I still have a purpose. I still have friends. I still have family, and people that I love, and it's just a fun journey, man. And it's a fun journey. It's not always easy as you have, but you just keep struggling. Not keep
Mm-hmm.
struggling, keep striving
Yeah.
is what I want to say on that,
Well, you
because
got to
this.
keep struggling too.
Yeah, you gotta keep struggling, and just don't let it get you down. It's going to happen. That's why we have these episodes. That's why there's so many purposes behind the show. Is that you're not alone in that stuff, and it's okay to share your emotions. It's okay to share, your thoughts and processes. This is why we encourage it on here. It's just
Mm-hmm.
we're not better than you. We're not, and I would say most of it, and most of the time that Brent and I would say is like, there's a lot of better people that should be on the show than us.
Mm-hmm.
We just picked it up and took advantage of what we have, and making it better. So
Yeah.
it's been awesome. It's been a great. There's a couple things that I said to us. We have 50 episodes. We've learned a lot through Entrepreneurs Therapy. Thursdays have been good. And I was told the other day, and there's a culmination of different things that have come to this stuff. I was told today is like, I've seen a really big change in you, and I really like it. And there's, it's a culmination of me surrendering that I don't need certain things in my life when I actually did. And I took it and I went back and did those things that I didn't like. But now you start seeing the budding of the flower, if you may, to come out and come out of we go back to a 300 square foot box.
Mm-hmm.
And you planted that seed way back then when everything was dark and there was no light and there was no water on that soil.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's a little bit every day, a little bit, and then you have some setbacks, and then a little bit more, and then some setbacks, and a little bit more. So I know that you hear this from the Tony Robbins and the Ed Mylets and the Andy Frisellas and stuff like that, but just know from people, just everyday people like Brett and I, just keep trusting the process, man. I'm really happy that we got to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Likewise.
it's been really cool. So, man, any final thoughts for you, brother?
Just keep on keeping on. Just go make a damn difference.
Yeah.
Be grateful. It's really, really tough to have a hard day
Mm-hmm.
when you focus on gratuity
Mm-hmm.
to others. Be grateful for others. Be grateful for the process. Be grateful that they're in your life, even just for a season. And that will make the difference.
Yeah. Amen. We'll keep talking about these common threads on here. Just as Brent said it so well early in this episode, man. Fulfill your purpose, brother. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not your time or whatever to it. Just keep probing to it. You were made special. You're here for a reason. Don't give up. Times will get dark. We get it. That's why we're here. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a spouse, reach out to whatever. You can reach out to us. We're always here to help. We are a resource, but we're also leading with the servant's heart that we're here to serve you, whatever that may be is. But understand, no matter what society tells you, no matter what somebody who may not understand what you want to achieve, keep doing into it, and know that you have two guys right here that if you tell us what your purpose is and your mission and all that stuff is, we're going to do everything to help you, to support you. So
Yeah.
we're going to get the heck out of here.
Yep.
We're going to go put a couple pennies in the pocket. And we're going to go make a damn difference.
That's right.
So anyways, guys, thank you so much for it. As always, if you like this episode, share the show. We do not have sponsors. We do not have advertising. So the only way that we get better is that if you share this show. And if you would like to be on the show, like to contribute, we would love to have you. So go ahead and let us know. But until we see each other again, guys, stay safe. But most of all, God bless. Thank you, guys. Love you.